open against number 1 UCLA, LSU, sorry. Rankings also released today. We open 20th in the AP, 18th in the coaches poll. So Coach, you want to open up?
Yeah, just wow. I mean, first of all, thank you all for being here. I remember rooms where there was just a few of us in the media room, so really, really excited to have everyone here today. And also just really excited about our team. I think I say this most years, I love our team, and this year is no different. This is a special group, you know, because we are a very veteran-laden group. We have a lot of players that have played a lot of minutes for Colorado basketball and are experienced and hungry and excited and motivated and everything you want a team to be, you know, going into your season. And so, yep, like Seth said, LSU opening night will be an incredible test for us. It's one that we're excited about. And then the rest of the season is also equally challenging. And so, so it's going to be a great year for us. We're ready.
All right.
Back here. To be ranked 20th to start the season, where do you feel like the respect is for your team going into the year?
Honestly, I don't really worry about that too much. We've recruited a bunch of players with these massive chips on their shoulder, people that were under-recruited, you know, they don't have any stars next to their names out of the recruiting process, and we like it that way. I mean, I always say I wouldn't turn away a 5-star kid, you know, but we have a bunch of players that are just love to be an underdog and love to be sort of overlooked or you know, and love to have something to prove. And so this team, whether we were ranked number 1 or not ranked at all, that's just built in our DNA that we want to prove people wrong. We want to prove that we're really good. And so no matter what the ranking is, this team will have that mindset. So, I mean, we're excited and honored to be preseason top 25. I don't know if we ever have, or it's been a long time, certainly not since I've been here. But we're motivated to continue to climb that ladder, certainly.
JR, when you want to get to a certain level, it's different than when you're at a certain level, all right? I'm just wondering, getting to the Sweet 16, what this team has accomplished now, coming with all those expectations, does that change the way this group approaches its business and kind of carries itself?
Yeah, fortunately, no. I think, you know, I talk about this a lot. Our team talks about it a lot. We're just trying to be excellent today in whatever it is that we're doing right now, whether that's in the weight room, on the track, conditioning, in a practice, in a live scenario. And I think that mindset, we really have instilled that in our ball club since day one when we weren't winning a lot of games. That was the goal. Now that we're winning more games, it's still the goal. And so I think because that is so ingrained in who we are, you know, we don't really have to worry about overlooking anyone or looking too far ahead. I would be worried if we were not locked in on a daily basis, but I trust our upperclassmen to make sure we stay that way. And so I think that puts us in a really good spot.
Hey Coach, JR Payne, you're JR.
No, I'm JR.
Jalen Sherrod. I mean, she got a lot of attention throughout that run this last spring.
Yeah.
But deservedly so. You've seen her game develop quite a bit. How has she grown this summer as she's in her 5th year and is now absolutely that leader on your team?
Yeah, Jay has always wanted to be better. No matter how good she is at something, she wants more. You know, she could be a 4.0 student, she wants more. She could be a 5-year starter, she wants more. And so that is very much built into her DNA. And so she really prioritized this summer. One, she took a fair amount of time off. Like, you know, we tease her about having an old lady body just because she's played so many minutes and things like that. So she took some time off, which she really needed. And so her body is feeling really good. The other thing she really focused on was perimeter scoring, like being able to shoot the ball consistently and confidently. Spent a lot of time, Matt Hauer on our staff is sort of a shooting coach. Expert. He himself was a great shooter and has taught a lot of great shooters, and so they spent a lot of time together on that, and I think we'll see that she's shooting the ball really well.
Hey Coach, they say that teams that are player-led are some of the best and most successful teams. To have Jalen and Quay come back and be leading that locker room, how easier does it make it on you and your coaching staff?
Yeah, a lot easier. You know, and honestly, someone asked me last week, who are the leaders on your team, and I started with, of course, Jalen and Quay, and then Kendall and Frida and Charlotte and Maddie, and I just kept going on and on. We are really, really fortunate in that we have a lot of people capable of leading. The thing I love most about that, they're all very capable, but they all have their own style. You know, so sometimes, you know, a younger player might need They don't need someone to bark at them, they need someone to love them up and put their arm around them and say, it's gonna be okay, just here, I'm here to help you. And then sometimes, you know, we need more of a foot in our butt and let's get going, we need to pick it up. And so we have all the different types of leadership we need within our team, and so collectively, they're fantastic, and I'm, you know, in a lot of ways can just kind of sit back and let them take the reins.
Hey Coach, Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. At the end of last season, kind of the talking point was, you know, getting back to the NCAA tournament for back-to-back years for the first time in about 20 years. Obviously, your goal when you came here is just to get back to the NCAA tournament. Is the expectation this year to show the rest of the country that it is an annual expectation to get to the tournament and that it's not going to be a surprise going forward when Colorado gets back there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we now, as you said, back-to-back years is wonderful. For us, the expectation is every year. You know, how deep we go in the tournament will depend on, you know, our personnel and our health and, you know, injuries and things like that. But definitely the goal is every single year to be among the top teams in the country. You know, we recruit that way, we talk that way, we train that way. And so I believe that people should start anticipating that we'll be that team every year.
Hey Coach, wanted to ask you about one of your transfers, Sarah Rose Smith. She was at Missouri last year. I believe she led them in rebounds last year too. Just what does she bring to the team in terms of you know, physicality?
Yeah, Sarah Rose Smith is has a lot of experience. So our two transfers bring a tremendous amount of playing experience with them. And Sarah did lead her team in rebounding. I think she had twice as many offensive rebounds as anyone else on her team, which for a 6'1" perimeter player is pretty awesome. And so she brings calm, she brings toughness, she brings hard work, she's versatile, she can play multiple positions on the floor. We will ask her to play multiple positions. It's just when you've played 3 years at a high level, you just have experience and savvy that, you know, it takes time to develop, so she's gonna bring that to us.
Back over here. When I was talking to Sarah Rose and Maddie and just some of the new players, they all talked about Kendall and how Kendall was the player that they looked to kind of emulate.
Yeah.
What is it about Kendall that you appreciate that she's kind of like the player that they want to emulate?
The short answer is everything. I appreciate everything about Kendall. Ultimately, coaches want to coach players that they can trust. You know, trust to do what they're supposed to do. They don't have to be the best scorer in the world or the best rebounder in the world. If I can just trust you to do your job, you know, and do it to the best of your ability, any coach in the world will take a handful of those players, and that is Kendall. She's one of our hardest workers. She's one of our toughest players. She's one of our best defenders. She listens, she's coachable, she leans in when things are difficult, which inevitably they are during basketball season. She leans into the discomfort and works to fix it, like doesn't shy away from anything hard. I credit her parents for raising her to be, you know, just such an incredible young woman who has such high expectations of herself and her teammates. She does a great job of holding people accountable. She calls people up to the standard when things aren't the way they need to be. And yeah, she's just unselfish and wants to win. Ultimately, very, very competitive.
Hi, Coach. 2 questions. First, you talk about being locked in every single day, getting better every single day, but also coming off such a big step last year. How do you balance that kind of short-term focus one day at a time with, okay, this is the bar now?
Yeah, I think our players do it for me. You know, I think if you were to say, if anybody in our program were to say, oh, I can't wait for UCLA, you know, which is a month and a half down the road, or something, oh, it's so cool we're ranked, or, you know, like just something that took our focus away from today, I think you would have several of our upperclassmen that would remind them that all that matters is how do we perform today. You know, so I don't even really have to do it anymore. We talk about it a lot. We very much focus on the details of things like screening angles, passing with the correct hand, like small details. And so I think that keeps our focus very tight, like right here. But I also think our upperclassmen do a great job of that as well.
And then I wanted to ask about Maddie Nolan. Obviously, she's one of the best shooters in Michigan basketball history, but you also brought her name up when you were listing off the leaders of your team just a minute ago. What does that say? What does she bring to you guys? How is she going to help you guys on the floor? And what does that say about her that as someone new in such a veteran team, she's already earned that kind of respect from you?
Yeah, Maddie, I would put right in line with Kendall Wetta, like when I'm talking about just players you love to coach that are just going to work hard, do what they're supposed to do. be great in the classroom, be a great teammate, you know, everything you want her to do, she's doing above and beyond. And I actually met with her this morning, we were watching film and talking, and I said, it's really important that you look at this team, it's as much your team as it is anyone's team. You know, I've been here longer, Jalen's been here longer, Quay's been here longer, but you know what it looks like to win, you know what it looks like, you know, to be successful, and it's really important you share that knowledge with everybody else on the team. And so she's not afraid to speak up, hold people up to the standard and things like that, but she's gonna be a great player. She's not just a shooter, she is a knockdown shooter, you know, but she can do a lot more than I think people know.
Hey Coach, it feels like you've built a really good relationship with Coach Prime.
Yeah.
Even saw you had some of your recruits go and meet him.
Yeah.
What has it been like getting to know him, and also what has it been like coaching Shalomar?
Yeah, I mean, I tell anybody that'll listen, I love Coach Prime. I love what he's about. I love just the standards they have within their program. Very much line up with the things that mean a lot to us. You know, Shalomai's no different. Like she works hard, she's coachable, she's listening, she's trying to, I mean, she's a freshman at a new school trying to catch up and keep up, and you know, on a very veteran team, that's not an easy thing to do. So I appreciate Coach Prime. He came to practice yesterday and, you know, got to watch a little bit. I told him he should bring his whistle next time. But yeah, no, I mean, I think he's incredible for this university, for this department. And again, it's not just the celebrities that are coming. It's not just the shine. Like it's the foundational things, you know, that he's about that elevate and lift us all up.
Hi, Coach. I'm just curious, what went into organizing the LSU matchup, and why did Colorado want to raise their hand and say, we're going to play this matchup?
Yeah, great question. So Coach T does our scheduling, and the Hall of Fame is the group that's putting on this series. There's 4 games that day. We're just one of those games. Just an opportunity, you know, when they asked us, you know, I don't think there were a lot of people raising their hands to play the national champion who returned most everybody and added the best transfer class in the country. There weren't a lot of takers. But we love a challenge. I mean, it's a great opportunity. Kim Mulkey's a great coach. Their team is obviously really, really good, and we play in a great conference. We want to be challenged in our preseason, and you know, on a neutral floor, there's no better challenge, you know, than to play LSU. So we thought about it and talked to our seniors about it, and kind of went through that process, and then said, yeah, we'll do it. We're excited.
Hey Coach, the Pac-12 arguably has been the best conference for women's basketball for a very long time. Obviously, this being the last year that CU's in the conference, how important is it for you and this team to be able to compete one last time in this conference and to do as well as possible?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of an emotional season, as far as we're not going to cry when we go to Oregon for the last time, you know, but emotional in that the Pac-12 has meant so much to so many of us for so long, and so. All of the coaches in our conference are very close, very connected. You know, we recruited a lot of their players, they recruited our players. And so I just think it's gonna be, an emotional trip. But also I think as good as our conference has been, I think this will be the best year for the Pac-12 women's basketball. I think we have 5 teams ranked top 25 so far this year. I think there could be more. And I think it's just gonna be really tough. I think everyone's really good, really competitive. And we should have a lot of teams in the postseason this year.
Hey Coach, just kind of going on that question, I think about half the conference is ranked, you know, and that's not unusual, that's pretty much every year.
Yeah.
Since you got here, how much has being in this conference helped you elevate this program, just knowing you can have to be with that every single year?
Yeah, I think being in this league has definitely helped us elevate every part of our game. Like, it's not just the play on the floor, it's the recruiting, it's the facilities, it's the branding, it's everything that you're trying to do to compete against the very best. I've said this many times, but the rosters in the Pac-12 are full of 5-star McDonald's All-Americans. I mean, they're all throughout the Pac-12. And so in order to be competitive with teams like that, you not only have to be tough and disciplined and things that we value, but you gotta have great players, and you gotta have strong coaches and strong culture and all of those things. So I think it's held our feet to the fire. Not that we really need that, but it's held our feet to the fire, I think, every day since we've been here.
Coach, you obviously talking about the emotion with this season, with this group of seniors that have all been here for a while. It's obviously a group that means a lot to you.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself trying to cherish the moments with this group? Obviously, these players are going to be in your life, for a long time. But
Yeah.
Do you, just spending this last season with this group, do you find yourself kind of cherishing kind of the daily aspects of being around them?
Definitely. Some of these seniors, you know, in particular, Jalen and Quay, who've been here in 5th year and chose to come back 5th year, and I do spend a fair amount of time with them. You know, I encourage all the players to come in our offices and hang out and spend time. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I try to be very present, you know, along philosophically, we try to focus on day to day. I myself try to be very present, you know, every day in what we're doing. And, but yeah, I try not to think about senior night. It's far enough away that I don't have to think about it yet, but definitely love the players that have been in our program, and it'll be a sad day when they're done.
We talked to Coach Boyle, and he said that he would rather recruit freshmen than utilize the transfer portal, and how NIL has compromised building rosters and whatnot. What's your opinion on NIL and just recruiting, and how it's benefited or maybe negatively impacted your job?
Yeah, when people were talking about NIL, you know, several years ago before it started, we were concerned that it would open a Pandora's box that would be very difficult to close, only in that it would be seismic changes, you know, that people have to be very quickly be able to adapt to and adjust to. You know, it definitely is changing the landscape of college recruiting for us. We actually just got a couple really big commitments that I can't talk about yet, but we're very excited about some of the freshmen we have coming next year. And then also a balance, though. I mean, there are times that you're going to need to plug a spot on your roster with a portal player. And so I think for us, we always want to recruit not just great basketball players, but great people that fit us culturally, that fit Boulder, and can really thrive here. And that's, I think, moving forward, going to be a really good balance of freshmen plus transfers. And so we'll always do our homework. We'll always try to find players that value the same things we do. And but for us, it's going to be, I think, a balance between the two.
Do you think NIL has made things more expensive?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's no question about that. You know, it's changed the game. You know, I think one of the cool things that we're really trying to do NIL-wise is pair leaders in our community with our student athletes. Like, it's not just, sure, you can hand a kid, you know, from a business member, you can hand them $10,000 and that's wonderful. You also can create a partnership that will last our students much longer than the check will. And so trying to balance, then there's NIL money to be had, but also trying to balance the relationships that can last 10, 15, 20 years from now, and provide opportunities later.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thanks guys. Go well.